Well, all this month, CBS 4 is taking part in celebrating Black history, and tonight we meet a civil rights pioneer who's living right here in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale.
Attorney George Allen is a champion for human rights. He's credited with filing the lawsuit that actually integrated Broward County Public Schools, assuring all children were entitled to equal education. He recently sat down with CBS 4's Michele Gillen to share some of his milestones.
Do you believe the life you've led and what you've witnessed?
It's been a lot of good times and a lot of bad times, but all in all, it's been a great life.
His life reads like chapters in American history. In fact, he's made history time and time again. W. George Allen, a civil rights leader who's a living legend and lesson.
It's an inner moral code to try to do what's right.
He recognized injustice from when he was just a little boy. Today's big-time lawyer started out picking in the fields.
All blacks work in the fields or in the orange groves and at menial salaries. When I started, we were making $4.50 a day.
Oh my.
10 hours. I was 10 years old.
If he were spotted outside the fields, he was questioned by police.
I couldn't fight back.
As a child, he held his tongue, but as he matured and studied, he'd realized college and law degrees were the best weapons to make change and break glass ceilings. First stop, FAMU, where he wasn't welcomed in the library.
I went to the library, which was all white. And the lady says, "I'm sorry, you can't use this library." And I said, "My father and mother pay taxes. I have a right."
His father tried to wave him off, cautioning him.
You know your place, and it's not down at that white library. And so I told him, no, I don't have a place. And from then on, I was militant. We engaged in sit-ins, and we engaged in boycotts at FAMU.
And on local buses.
Blacks had to sit in the rear. If whites got on, blacks had to get up. So we stopped that.
So smart and studied, he was recruited into the rarefied world of U.S. Army intelligence.
I went into the Army, and for the first time, I lived in an integrated society or situation where I competed with whites, and I was on an equal level with whites.
He passed on Harvard to secure his law degree at the University of Florida to become their first African American to graduate.
I worked my butt off because I was afraid of failure.
Through it all, for Allen, the secret of his success, the sweetheart he married 55 years ago.
She says, "You know, I knew you were going to do okay, but you exceeded my expectations."
A path applauded and not forgotten. Michele Gillen, CBS 4 News.
Mr. Allen has been practicing law for nearly 50 years now, and he spends an awful lot of time traveling with his sweetheart there. His message to the younger generation: get involved in your community.